to lesson 2.8e, naming acids. Acids are molecules in which one or more hydrogen ions are attached to an anion. So when you place them in water, they behave, the hydrogen ion behaves as a proton. There are a couple different rules depending on whether or not the anion that the acid is composed of contains oxygen. So obviously the hydrogen ion is going to act as the cation, and so in an acid the only other thing you can include is the anion. So if the anion ends in IDE, the acid is named with the prefix hydro, and then we use ic as the ending. If the anion contains oxygen, then it's going to be based on the root, the name of the anion. If it's an 8, it becomes an ic. If it's an ite, it becomes an us. So these acids listed in this table don't have oxygen in them. All of these anions end in ide, so we're going to put hydro and ic. So this is hydrofluoric acid, hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid, hydroiodic acid, hydrocyanic acid. So notice this is a polyatomic ion but doesn't have oxygen. So it's hydrocyanic acid, and then this one, notice it does have multiple hydrogens, but that makes no difference. This is just called hydrosulfuric acid. And this is different than sulfuric acid. Hydrosulfuric is very different. When an acid contains oxygen, we use those special endings depending on whether it's the 8 or the ite. So this polyatomic is nitrate, so we change the ending to ic. So 8s become ics, nitric acid. This is nitrite. Ites become us's, so this is nitrous acid. Sulfate becomes sulfuric acid. Sulfite becomes sulfurous acid. This is phosphate, so this is phosphoric acid. And this is acetate, so this is acetic acid. A lot of people mispronounce this one and say it's acidic acid, and it's actually acetic acid. Just a thought question. Let's go ahead and go to the flow chart here at the end. When you're trying to name an acid, you look at whether or not the anion contains oxygen. If the answer is no, you put hydro in front, use the anion root, and then put ic. So be like hydrochloric. If it contains an oxygen, then you look at whether the ending is ite or 8. If it's ite, you use us, and if it's ic, you use, if it's 8, you use ic. Okay. All right, that concludes the naming of simple compounds. The next lesson and the final lesson in Chapter 2 is going to be a review where we're going to tie all this together and try to name all the different types of things that we've talked about.